Welcome to Around the Table. I'm your host, Tyler Pope. To my left here is my co-host, Curtis Nivens. Today on this episode, we got a special topic. It's about a transgender cyclist named Rachel McKinnon. She had just won her UCI Masters cycling event. Today, we have a few guests. To my left, we got Brandon Lee, senior cycling analyst. To my right here, we got Alex Halkew, senior analyst on transgender sport. And to my left again, we got Michael McClay, senior women's sport analyst. Let's get going, boys.
So there was a lot of controversy after McKinnon had won the race. Third place finisher Jen Wagner-Saley tweeted her complaint saying it was unfair towards herself and the fellow racers that transgender won the race. Second place finisher Caroline Van Herakusen also tweeted out saying that Jen Wagner had a problem with it. She shouldn't have raced in the first place, saying it was an honest race. So Alex, what is your take on the controversy surrounding the topic?
I feel like this creates a controversy because this race is based upon all females, and the fact that Rachel was born a male, I feel like that's unfair.
I'm gonna have to disagree with you because I've been in the cycling industry for a long time, and I feel like the sport has evolved so much where you have transgender athletes in every sport now. So this is something that we're gonna have to live with. It's not only she's a female basically, and
Right.
she's transgender, and yeah, although that she was born male, she's a female, and that's how it's gonna be from now on in sport.
So why do you think she's like? Why do you think the third place finisher? Why do you think Jen's talking a lot of crap about the surrounding topic?
See, that's the problem. People aren't accepting this yet. People like Jen just don't accept, and some people just can't accept, losing as well. She came in third, and some people just like to make excuses as well. But some people haven't accepted this yet. Some people may never accept it. That's the problem, and it's just something that we're gonna have to live with in sport. Okay.
So the next topic I wanna cover, it's open discussion for all of us here. I'm here on Twitter actually, and there's a tweet from Dr. Rachel McKinnon, as she goes by, and here in quotations is a question I guess she's been asked many times before is, why do you race with women? And her first point on her tweet here, it says, I am a woman. So,
Anyone want to talk about?
Well, Tyler, what I think is if it says that she's female in her birth certificate, I think it's okay. Like, it shouldn't be discriminated like that. Like, if she identifies as female, then I think she's eligible to compete in the women's games or whatever competition.
well, just to add here, her second point on this is every single piece of identification she has on her, it says she's female on all of them. So
Yeah, not just her birth certificate. So like she has a point onto this. So does anyone agree or disagree?
No, I completely agree. And like I said before, this is just something that's comes with sport. It's just the rate of transgender athletes is skyrocketing.
Like you said earlier, it's something we have to deal with.
Exactly. It just keeps going up.
You can't stop it. It's too much. It's all around the world now.
So Alex, I know you had a couple of doubts earlier when we were asking you, but like, have your views like changed at all, or are you kind of around the same area?
The fact that she's saying she's female on all her identification, I don't understand why there's a controversy of her being a male or like competing with females and there's something going on.
Well, would it be the same if she was getting like a sex change or something? Would that be like, because she was born as a male, right? But she's not officially like
there, yeah, as in
changed like actual gender, so it's like she's in a weird neutral place right
then,
now.
If she was like completely female, well then I'd say then that would be fair, I guess.
Yeah, there would be no argument against it.
Right.
Like I wouldn't see how you can argue against it, because the facts show you are a female, and if you are a female competing in female races or female sports, I think that there should be no issues at all compared to, I know you came in third place and you're a bit salty and a bit upset towards the fact that you lost against someone who classifies as a transgender, but I feel like
She's just a sore loser.
yeah,
That's all
and I
she's
agree,
just a
and I
loser.
completely agree with her. I completely agree with Rachel, and I completely agree with Caroline. I think that the third place, I feel like Jen. I know she's arguing, but I feel like if she doesn't want to suck it up and deal with it, I think that she shouldn't have raced in the first place. Because if she's upset about someone beating her as a transgender, it's either sexist or it's just that she's upset about losing. And I get that, like, losing sucks, but I think that people have to consider, she is considered a female, so I think that people just, in general, have to deal with it.
Here's the way I look at it. So we look at sport. So when someone loses, right? You know, when someone loses, there's always excuses being made. And this right here, you can say this is an easy excuse. This is an easy thing to say, like, oh, I lost because she's technically a man. It's the easiest excuse to say when you're losing. You know what I mean? And I've been in sport for a long time, and this is just another one of those excuses that everyone likes to make. That's just how it is.
So on another note, the last half of this tweet from Rachel, she seems to be kind of standing her own ground with the questions of why do you race with women. Her third point here is we are required by the rules of sport to compete with the gender of our identification. So right there, I guess she believes she's a woman. She's standing her ground on what she believes.
And that's exactly what she should do.
And she ends off this tweet by saying, "I am a woman" again.
Yeah, so she restated it.
So it's pretty plain and simple what she believes, and it's kind of important for people to stand by what they believe. And
Yeah.
there shouldn't be really any discussion, and like, you can't say like, you know, you are a man, like you can't.
No, but here's the thing: there's always going to be people out there that are going to say, "Oh, whatever you're born with, that's who you are," and that's how it's been for. That's how some people are. Back then, it's been very popular.
Very different.
Yeah, but-
And there was none of this stuff like back
Exactly,
then.
back then, but now this is so,
Now it's
so popular.
anything.
But there's always going to be people out there that are going to say, "Oh, if you're born like this, then it doesn't matter."
Yeah, but that's the type of world we live in now. Is like everybody who loses just finds any type of excuse, like you guys were saying earlier, and it's kind of sad to see like certain people are trying to point out these things, and when they're really not needed, really.
Exactly.
So
And it's like before, like I said, and it adds on to it. It's poor sportsmanship, and like it says here, by the rules of sport, you're required to play sport with the gender that you are identified as. So if you're playing that sport, it means that you've identified as it. Whether you like it or not, you're going to play that sport. And whether people dislike it, or people hate against it, or people like that you are trying to be transgender and you are trying to switch things up, you should just play and accept the sportsmanship. Win or lose, if you win, deal with it. If you lose, deal with it. There's nothing to argue against.
You gotta ignore all the haters or whatever. You gotta block out the haters and stand, like everyone was saying, you gotta stand up what you
Yeah.
you should
believe
be like,
should-
realistically, you just shouldn't care about what other people think. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
just let them
That's-
have their own opinions.
there's-
Like they're entitled to their own opinions, whether it be right or wrong. It shouldn't really matter to you if you believe you are something, and you like. It's really not up to any other person to tell you what you are or what you should be. You just it's all about like what you think of yourself, and if you identify yourself as that, then that's fine. I think.
Right. Good stuff.
So with that being said, before we wrap up here, because we are running out of time, guys, do you guys have any final thoughts or add-ons to this argument, discussion, like just to finish it off? Because you guys all had some pretty good points, and
Yeah, what I think, I mean, I wouldn't personally like suggest this, but if it's such an issue with so many people, why don't they they just have, if people identify as a transgender or whatever they identify as, have their own like group of participants that they can compete with.
like they're on like specific categories, and
Yeah, like their own, like have a third, male, female,
because
and
then that would cause-
intersect. That we talk
Because then
intersect.
I feel like that would just be trying to just split like.
That's the
it's-
thing.
it's
Like
kinda-
I wouldn't suggest it, but I mean, there's a lot of people that have problems with it, but you can't really stop it.
But realistically,
This-
people only start to have problems with it once they
When
come short of winning, or they beat them. Like that's when people start coming on and start trying to expose certain transgender people.
And I just actually looked up, in terms of the IOC, so the International Olympic Committee, they're actually implementing new guidelines in terms of women's sports and transgender relation. I think that, we're not sure what it is, obviously. They're creating them right now, so I think it's going to be implemented probably within the next couple of Olympics.
Yeah,
So we're not sure what it's going to be, but in terms of like what's happening right now, I'm going to reiterate the fact that yeah, people are upset about it, and people are going to keep being upset about it, no matter what the changes are, no matter what it is now. People are going to be upset about it, and I get that. Obviously, Rachel had beat out her opponents. One opponent's happy about it. She thought it was a fair race. There's nothing problematic about it. And then you look at obviously the negative aspect from Jen. She's saying that the race isn't fair. I don't know how the race isn't fair. People have to do the exact same thing the exact same way. It doesn't change anything. So I think that, yeah, sure, no matter what the IOC does and no matter what it is now, I think that people are just going to keep hating.
And the problem with the league that you're talking about, how you have a transgender league, is we had the first transgender athlete in the 1970s with Renee Richards. So doing that, implementing that league now just wouldn't make any sense. I mean,
Yeah,
I know it was a recommendation. I know,
It's just a thought. Like, I wouldn't.
You also have to look at like how much more controversy that could cause if they had their own
Yeah,
race,
that's
because
true.
that's kind of like saying you're trying to
Like you're
like
different
you have
from
the normal,
everyone else.
you're
Yeah,
trying
like
to say like there's
normal.
normal people and then there's not normal
And
people,
then,
which,
yeah,
which
that's-
wouldn't be fair to kind of categorize them
And
as.
there are going to be a lot of people that are very, like, there's going to be a lot of sexism, hatred, and all that
And the
stuff.
fact of the matter is, there's going to be hate no matter what. Every league you
That's-
see, there's going to be hate.
that's true. There's
NBA,
always
there's the
hate.
Golden State Warriors. Everyone hates the
Everyone-
Golden State Warriors.
Yeah, that's-
And just every single
You're
sport
right.
there's
You
hate.
can't.
And I feel like, Michael, when you said you like to make your own group of individuals.
Not
that
me
are trans-
personally, but
Just a recommendation.
just a
Yeah,
recommendation.
recommendation.
So you said you want to make your own like group of individuals that are transgender. So I feel like people would think like there's another like gender, like there's males, there's
Mhm.
females, and then there's a transgender group. Like
Exactly.
that'd be like,
It just doesn't
so
make sense.
are they male? Are they female? Are they both? Like
Mhm.
that's my.
And also, if that was to happen, that would have happened a long time ago.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right,
that's,
right.
that's
At
true.
this point,
Yeah, it
nothing's
would
gonna
happen.
The way it is now is perfect. It's just people are gonna hate. People are gonna
But
show
accept it.
gamesmanship and
Yeah.
you know, on sports like conduct. It's just how it is. nowadays.
So if you guys are good with what you've said and on this whole discussion, I think that's about it. Yeah, we are running out of time here. So thank you guys all for tuning in to this episode of Around the Table. I'm Tyler Pope again with Curtis Nivens. See you next time.
Made this here with all the ice on in the booth.